As someone who loves cinema and physical media, I often find myself longing for the golden age of the video store. As someone who is a part of Gen Z, the video store had already become pretty much antiquated by the time I was like 10. But I was lucky. I managed to experience these magical weekly trips to the video store thanks to Family Video, who managed to stay open until the pandemic. But once Family Video shut down their doors, that kind of marked the final nail in the coffin for the video store. But maybe that's not the end. This video is my tribute to the video store. A love letter to the place that nurtured my passion for film, and is also a spotlight on the establishments scattered across the Pacific Northwest that are defying the odds and keeping the spirit of the video store alive. The video store wasn't just a place to rent movies, it was a third place for lovers of cinema. In case you don't know what the term third place means, it's somewhere outside of home and work where you can simply exist and unwind and feel part of a community. For many of us, the video store filled that role. And some might argue that the movie theater also serves that purpose. While I am a huge advocate for the cinema experience in its purest and most authentic form, it misses the core aspect that makes a third place, and that is conversation. Sure, you can socialize before and after your screening, but the majority of your time at the movie theater is spent in silence, paying attention to the film, while the video store invited interaction. You can chat with the staff about your favorite directors, overhear heated debates in the horror section, or strike up a spontaneous conversation with a stranger over your shared love of cinema. This wasn't just a marketplace, it was a gathering place. This was a physical manifestation of community, built around stories lined up on shelves. I mean, look at Quentin Tarantino. He didn't cultivate his legendary admiration and knowledge for film at some prestigious film school. No, he built it while working at his local video store, the Video Archives. In fact, the very thing that these streaming services boast about in its instant and convenient access to a large library of films and TV shows is what the video store lacked. And honestly, that slight inconvenience is part of what made it so special. The weekly trip to the video store was like a ritual. I'll never forget the time I went to Blockbuster with my dad, and as we were pulling into the parking lot, Autograph's Turn Up the Radio came on the radio, and we just parked and blasted that. Oh, that's a memory I'll never forget. And then came the sensory rush, walking into the store and almost immediately being hit by the distinct smell of popcorn and plastic, and looking at the posters plastered on the wall, and just standing there being in awe in what seemed like a limitless selection of countless movies. These trips were memorable because they engaged you. They were immersive, tactile, and full of discovery. Streaming, for all its convenience, is none of these things. It intentionally feels minimal, bare bones by design. You scroll through endless titles, eyes glazing over algorithms as they try to predict your tastes, but the video store, you were physically surrounded by stories. Moving through the aisles and scouring through the shelves, being able to physically touch the DVD, Blu-ray, or VHS wasn't just a part of the process. It captivated your imagination. It made the experience personal. In today's era of streaming, that essential human-to-human interaction that made the video store so special is gone now, replaced by algorithms. Instead of chatting with a passionate staff member who already knows your taste, you are handed a cold, calculated list of because you watched recommendations. There is no story or personality behind these recommendations, just data points and watch history. For many, the video store is only but a memory, but it's not entirely dead. Scattered across the Pacific Northwest are a few video stores that, despite all the odds, are still standing today, and I had the privilege to go to them. Most of you have probably heard of the last Blockbuster in Bend, Oregon. Naturally, I had to stop there and grab this killer photo in front of the iconic sign in the process. As memorable and legendary as the store was itself, the journey to get there might have been even more incredible. My uncle and I drove through snowy mountain passes and dry desert plains to reach Bend. The scenery just kept on shifting like something out of an adventure movie. By the time that glorious yellow sign came into sight, it felt truly earned. And walking through those doors, pure euphoria. Inside, it still felt like a functioning Blockbuster in every sense. Aisles of DVDs, staff behind the counter, snacks near the front, but also it doubled up as a museum and gift shop. I walked out with a hoodie that is currently in the wash right now. God, I wish I was wearing that for this video. This candle that smells like popcorn, and my favorite find, this strange $2 copy of the Criterion of Marriage Story. It was clearly, the cover was clearly just printed out and shoved into this standard Blu-ray case. I probably wouldn't have bought this anywhere else, but just the fact that I bought it from the last Blockbuster makes it all worth it for my mind. It's like an artifact from a parallel universe or something. I also wanted to use this video as an opportunity to highlight the smaller, lesser-known video stores that still exist today. Even in the golden age of the video store, Blockbuster was often criticized as, well, lackluster, pun totally intended. While Blockbuster mostly focused on, well, blockbusters, the smaller indie video store had the real treasures, wider selections, and deeper cuts. Stuff you would never find at a corporately owned video store. One of the best examples of this is Movie Madness in Portland, Oregon. Inside, of course, they had a massive selection of films, niche genres, like samurai flicks, Japanese horror movies, German expressionist films, and French New Wave films, and that's only scratching the surface. Though the standout with Movie Madness is surprisingly not its massive, sprawling library of movies, it's the store's incredible collection of actual screen-used props and costumes. They had the knife from Psycho, the head of the alien costume in Aliens, the bar of soap that Brad Pitt holds up in the iconic Fight Club poster. Also down the street was this cool old school theater that me and my uncle went to. We saw Mickey 17. They also had a Dropbox for Movie Madness. In Seattle, I visited a massive video store called Scarecrow Video, a place that boasts one of the largest film libraries in the entire world. Walking in and just gawking at the sheer volume of titles they had at this store was overwhelming in all the best ways. One of the coolest things, they had entire sections dedicated to directors. I stumbled into the George A. Romero section and found an obscure 70s documentary he directed about O.J. Simpson called The Juice is on the Loose. That doesn't age you like milk. All jokes aside, the store is full of small, tucked-away rooms, each one packed with floor-to-ceiling shelves of movies. Walking into them felt like stepping into another dimension. To be physically surrounded by film history was nothing short of magical. They also had a pretty decent selection of movies for sale, the highlight easily being these super exclusive slipcovers. I picked up this one of Rumble in the Bronx. There are only, if it'll focus, 100 of them in existence. Turns out, an employee was actually the artist behind this. These stores, Scarecrow Video, Movie Madness, The Last Blockbuster, aren't relics of the past. They are living, breathing reminders of what made the era of the video store so special. Discovery, community, and a genuine human connection to cinema. For someone like me who grew up while this world was fading, visiting these places wasn't just about nostalgia. It was about rediscovering what it truly means to love cinema. And maybe the video store isn't dead, it's just evolving, surviving in small, quiet corners of the country, kept alive by people who still believe that browsing should be an experience, and that stories deserve to live on a physical shelf, not a digital queue. Ultimately, it's not just about the movies, it's about the ritual, the dingy smell of the carpet, the great conversations you can have with the staff about all things cinema, and discovering something you didn't even know you were looking for. That is the magic of the video store. And as long as that magic still exists somewhere, anywhere, stashed away in various corners of the country like the best kept secret in the film community, the dream isn't dead. It's just waiting to be rediscovered.